interlibrary loan, or document delivery. In some organizations, the order department and the interlibrary loan department are also cooperate, since document delivery is an alternative to purchase when a needed item is requested. If articles or books are part, for an example, are requested, interlibrary loan may be the most appropriate delivery mechanism. This underscores an important point. An order does not necessarily mean purchase. Acquisitions librarians are responsible for providing prompt, economical delivery of a needed material. They are not just purchasing agents. Here are several objectives of acquisition. Buying the right item is much easier when developing collections, since a unique item is almost always specified. This is quite different than a purchasing agent who is asked to buy ballpoint pens and consider a wide variety of pens. The major concern here is to ensure that you don't duplicate an item already held. You might have a British edition of a requested item that also has a variant title, or might have an item as a topical issue of a periodical, which is now being released as a separate physical item. The other concern is that users often submit descriptions that are incomplete or contain erroneous information. Since titles are not copyrightable, more than one work may have the same title. The author's first and last name may be transposed or may be spelled incorrectly. The user may have requested an older edition when a newer one is available. Bibliographic verification ensures that the right item is found and delivered. Also, buying the right amount of that item. Buying the right quantity is important for general purchasing, since you need to avoid the stockouts or an item not being available. The selector normally specifies the quantity so that this is not an important issue. The right time. Buying at the right time is also important for most ordering departments, since the selector is responsible for generating the order to meet likely deadlines. For an example, a selector is responsible for generating requests for income tax books long before the heavy demand period in February, March, and early April. It's a selector's responsibility to anticipate likely demand and generate requests so that the materials is available when the demand hits. However, there are also materials where a rush order is needed to speed the process up and receive it in a timely manner. This may sometimes mean that a special arrangement is made, ordering directly from a publisher or paying via a departmental credit card. At the right price is important, especially for leased items that may not have a firm price. Traditionally, order professionals have been able to secure discounts off of list price by ordering from vendors and publishers. Such discounts are shrinking, and often vendors offer similar discounts. The right price is not always the lowest price. For example, the low price may also include slow delivery and minimal service. There may also be no one who really answers that 800 number when you're calling with a question. Selecting the right vendor is a series of questions and answers. So vendors include wholesalers, retailers, publishers, library buying cooperatives that deal directly with publishers. Information agencies typically purchase materials from wholesalers rather than directly from the publisher. Advantages of purchasing from vendors include a limited number of invoices, reduction in the amount of work, you're able to pay in one single currency, discounts because of the quantity of materials ordered across the board. There's also the service added values such as shelf-ready materials. Buying from the right source is intertwined with the price, delivery, and important issues mentioned. Continuity of supply is also important. There are expenses related to changing suppliers and snags that almost always happen. A comfortable relationship with a good supplier offers price, delivery, and service can make an essential difference. However, it's advisable to evaluate performance and consider alternate suppliers from time to time. Efficiency is a rather important objective. Since the order department is a business operation, bills need to be paid quickly, correspondence should be handled quickly, and with a minimum of effort. Now, there are several organizational approaches to this. One is by format, for example. Serial publications have often been treated in a different unit. Another approach is by publisher. U.S. government information acquisitions is usually done by the government documents staff. The key question here is whether ordering for a particular format is troublesome enough to require some sort of additional or specialized training. That specialists could be in their own unit. This is similar to cataloging, where the music cataloger is a specialist within the cataloging department rather than being in the music library. Forecasting has been discussed as part of the financial resources unit. Since the order department pays for the materials acquired, it's in a better position to track prices, discounts, and gather information into analytical reports. The acquisitions person should scan the environment for information on business conditions and the state of the economy, growth and technological changes coming in the industry, cost trends in the industry. Since others decide what will be ordered, the order professional has a secondary responsibility. That is an important role. It is the acquisitions professional who will set up the approval plan and monitor its performance on a day-to-day basis. The same is true on standing order plans. Without thoughtful evaluation from an order professional, the collection developer will be at a substantial disadvantage. Inevitably, while spending large sums of money, there always involves the potential for ethical problems. So basically, always consider the organization's interests first. Purchase without prejudice or favoritism to any vendor or publisher. Accept no gifts. Normal lunches with vendors are appropriate because that can lead to thoughtful discussion. Most large organizations have a policy that clearly indicates what behavior is appropriate when dealing with a vendor. That free USB drive is not likely to be a problem, and I wouldn't worry about attending the vendor's wine and cheese party at a conference, although larger gifts are not allowable and suggest malpractice.